Today's video is about leadership, and if you are a leader, you are in a corporate hierarchy, you are running your own business, you're an entrepreneur, you have a small business, mid-sized business, large business, you are in a leadership role, then this video is for you. In the next few minutes, what I want to do is I want to share with you at least 2 or 3 different unique ideas that are very different. They stand out. And if you study the standard leadership, by the way, all the literature that's available on leadership, most of them, if I have to sum them up in 3 words: vision, delegation, negotiation. That's pretty much it. And of course there's some incredible content, but those are 3 words if I have to sum up most of the surface level information. For you to go deep, you really have to kind of go find that information, whatever additional information you want. You got to really go deep. There is not much available in the overall surface level. That's the point, surface level. Okay, so what are some deep level leadership concepts that come with some depth? That's the idea of this video. The first and the foremost is something called energetic resonance leadership. I just came up with the word, by the way. Okay, so energetic resonance leadership. What it means is you have your energy, or your unspoken energy sets the ceiling for your team's performance. And resonance means it's very loud, it's obvious, and it's your energy is what carries the outcomes in the organization. So if you study some of the elite leaders, in order to maintain the high frequency field around them, they practice what is called coherence training. And by coherence training, I mean things like resonance breathing, heart math. I want you to actually Google these words and you'll find some information on them. There might be some videos on YouTube also. I want you to look for them. So the key is this: it's your frequency that creates trust. It's not your instructions that you give your team. That's the point here. So how at level that you operate, if you keep your level field high as you're operating, then magically everybody around you automatically elevate their ceiling and they will perform automatically. So your energy is important. That's why I call energetic resonance leadership. The second one is called the decision making. I would say decision making velocity calibration. That's the right word. Decision making velocity calibration, or speed calibration. What it means is, at the end of the day, you as a leader, the way, the speed at which you make decisions, and when to make a speedy decision, when to slow down and make a decision, these 2 attributes contribute to the overall success of your organization. An elite leader or a good leader understands these 2 scenarios. In a stable environment, you are taking time, you are driving consensus so that you can improve the buy-in. In an unstable environment or a chaotic environment, hesitation pretty much destroys momentum. So a good leader can study these 2 scenarios. Okay, so this level of studying the scenario comes down to what we call the meta awareness of decision velocity. That's the way to put it. Meta awareness of decision velocity. So what it means is a leader can operate both in a slow mode and in a fast mode. In slow mode, there is deep, retrospective or deep reflection, then thorough strategy, and then collective input. That's what happens in a slow mode operation. In a fast mode operation, you're dealing with data that it's incomplete, that you have to trust. there are rapid iterations happening, and then you got to make some clear calls, and you're making those clear calls without any concrete data. Now the switching of these, a good elite, like a leader who should be able to calibrate the speed and can switch between these two contexts with absolute, with no drop of performance, no drop of energy, none of that stuff. So they should be able to fluidly move between these two states. This is how you build an organization that is resilient, that is high performing. The third one is how to say this? Your shadow is what decides the outcomes. For example, it's called shadow alignment leadership. That's the third one, shadow alignment leadership. Now, your shadow has to be aligned. And what I mean by shadow, when you're working towards an outcome, and most of the times when you're working towards an outcome as a leader, your unconscious mind sabotages that which your conscious mind is consciously trying to create if your shadow is in conflict. So what is the shadow here? Why it should be in conflict? For example, let's say you, as a leader, you are driven by fame because you have some wound within you that has to be triaged, that has to be addressed. Maybe somebody told you when you were a kid that you are not a good leader, or you don't make good decisions, whatever it is. Somebody said or somebody said that you can't become a leader, let's say. And now that you are a leader, that wound is there. You don't want to make decisions that will otherwise challenge your position as a leader, because if you lose your leadership, then you are now activating the wound, and that wound is the shadow. I hope I'm with you. Let's take one more example. Let's say you don't want to become unpopular, right? You don't want to become unpopular. When you don't want to become unpopular, then what do? You will tolerate mediocrity, or you will tolerate underperformance. So the fear that you will not be popular anymore, that is the shadow. Now, if you don't integrate these shadows, that means how do we integrate this? Well, the integration is very simple. People, some of the elite leaders, they do what is called family journaling. They write down their family stories. They see, okay, this trait I got from my grandfather. This is the trait I got from my father, and these are the scenarios through which they went. This is the scenario my mother went. This is where my aunt went. This is where my cousins. So you start, like looking at the decision making and some of the challenges these people faced while you were growing up. Then these are things that you consciously stay away, because maybe they might be relevant, they may not be relevant. So idea is, if they're relevant, you take. If they're relevant, then you stay aware. We also do journaling. I suggest that journaling is an awesome way to kind of take all your inner fears and inner hidden values and shadow fears or whatever. So you take them out and you transfer that energy onto a paper. So that way you now are building awareness. You are making your unconscious mind conscious about the things that otherwise are hidden and they can sabotage you. Of course, there is therapy, deep therapy. Every elite leaders, at least 3 or 4 that I personally worked with, whom I consider elite, have gone through some extensive therapy to build awareness around their invisible areas, that which they cannot see, or which automatically conclude without even putting attention to. They want to make it obvious to the conscious mind, and hence they went through therapy to highlight that to themselves, to their own self. Okay. The last one is, um, strategic disengagement cycles. As a leader, as an elite leader, you need to strategically disengage and create obvious vacuum as you're operating. So what I mean by obvious vacuum is you take time out. You say, okay, I'm going to be out. I'm not going to be making decisions when I'm out. I would leave everything to the team to deal with whatever comes during the time that I'm not here and when I'm away. So the team, in a way, obviously has to make decisions, but there is a certain level of awakening that happens within them. And that's the awakening that you want, or that's the level of understanding and collaboration and performance. Obviously, that awakening always leads to better performance, better integration between the team members and all. That's what you want as an elite leader. So you plan out strategically how much time you want to take out, how much time you want to become invisible, and let the vacuum play out, and let the vacuum resolve a lot of issues. Obviously, elite leaders also practice strategic disengagement when even small little things. For example, pausing before speaking, like a 2-second pause. That 2-second pause, let's say you're in a meeting, bunch of people speaking, you pause for 2 seconds and then you speak. Then you pause for 2 seconds and then you speak. When you do that, that in itself is strategic, deliberate disengagement. The idea to disengage is to acquire more power to come back even and then make a substantial difference along the way. So that's the idea. These are some of my thoughts. I hope this is helpful. I'm going to stop here. Don't want to sound repetitive again. So let me know if this was helpful. The only way I'll come to know is if you make a comment, and if you like this video, I can reach some more people. And if you subscribe to this channel, then I'm here literally every day. I haven't missed a single video since May 19th when I started this. So all the videos are there on the channel. So go see whatever makes sense. I've already coded all my videos properly, both on the thumbnail as well as on the title. So they're very, the idea is not to waste your time and get to the point. I had so many things going on in my mind as I was recording today that I couldn't really properly, place my thoughts. That's why you see some strategic pauses here as I'm going, because I'm thinking and speaking, which is very hard, by the way. And I'm not flowing at a level that I would otherwise flow with my videos. But then I also tell people that, whoever watches my video, they should watch at 1.5 or at a speed so that they can go through the videos faster. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Wherever you are, you be safe, and I'll be with you as early as tomorrow. You take care. Bye now.